Your life begins to transform the moment you choose to think differently. And this, right here, could be that moment. This is Mindshift with Geetanjali, the space where you shift your mindset, rise above limitations, and reframe your reality. I'm Geetanjali, mindset coach, author, and your companion on this journey to rediscover the power that's already within you. Let's begin. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and thank you for continuing to walk this journey with me. This season, we are exploring the subconscious patterns, emotional conditioning, and nervous system responses that quietly shape our lives underneath the surface. And today, we are talking about something every human being experiences: change, wanting change, praying for change, working toward change. And then the moment change actually begins happening, you're feeling uncomfortable, anxious, resistant, or emotionally overwhelmed by it. And this confuses so many people because consciously we may desperately want our lives to change. We want healing, growth, confidence, peace, healthier relationships, a different future. But emotionally, part of us still clings to the familiar, even when the familiar hurts us. So if you have ever asked yourself, why do I keep going back to old patterns? Why does growth feel so uncomfortable? Why does change feel harder than I expected? This episode is for you. Let's look at the 4 P's: problem, promise, proof, and plan. Problem. One of the hardest parts of transformation is realizing that change is not only mental, it is neurological, emotional, physical, energetic. Because the moment we begin changing, the nervous system often interprets unfamiliarity as danger. Even positive change can feel deeply uncomfortable. A healthier relationship, a new opportunity, more visibility, setting boundaries, resting more, thinking differently, letting go of old identities. And suddenly, anxiety appears, resistance appears, self doubt appears, old habits return. And many people think, maybe I'm not ready, maybe I am failing, maybe I am not capable of changing. But often, the discomfort is not proof that change is wrong. It is proof that the nervous system is adjusting to something unfamiliar. Promise. And once you understand why the brain resists change, you stop judging yourself so harshly during transformation. You begin understanding that discomfort is often part of rewiring. You learn how to move through change with more compassion and awareness instead of panic and self-criticism. And most importantly, you begin realizing that growth is not about becoming a completely different person overnight. It is about teaching the nervous system that new ways of living can feel safe. Proof. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is designed to conserve energy and maintain predictability. The nervous system prefers what feels familiar because familiarity creates a sense of safety, even if the familiar pattern is unhealthy. This is why people sometimes stay in painful relationships, limiting beliefs, emotional cycles, or unhealthy routines long after they consciously want something different. Because the brain is wired to repeat what it already knows, and changing those patterns requires a brain to create new neural pathways. That process takes repetition, emotional regulation, and time. So the discomfort many people feel during growth is not weakness. It is the nervous system learning how to adapt to something new. Plan. So what do we do when change feels uncomfortable? First, we stop expecting growth to feel comfortable immediately. Real transformation often feels unfamiliar before it feels natural. Second, we stop interpreting discomfort as failure. Discomfort is often evidence that the brain is rewiring old patterns. And third, we begin supporting the nervous system through change instead of forcing ourselves harshly through it. With self-awareness, regulation, compassion, patience, consistency. Because sustainable transformation happens when the nervous system feels safe enough to stay open to change. And this connects deeply to last week's episode. Are you chasing goals that aren't even yours? Because once we begin reconnecting with our authentic selves, change naturally becomes necessary. Old identities begin failing away. Old patterns begin feeling misaligned. Old versions of ourselves can no longer fully stay in control. And while that transformation is powerful, it can also feel emotionally uncomfortable. Let's take a look at the neuroscience section by going deeper into what is actually happening in the brain during change. The brain is constantly trying to predict what comes next. Predictability helps the nervous system feel safer and more energy efficient. And one of the brain's main goals is survival, not transformation. So when we begin changing behaviors, routines, beliefs, or identity patterns, the brain often interprets that unfamiliarity as potential risk. This involves several important systems in the brain. The basal ganglia stores habitual patterns and automatic routines. This is why habits become deeply wired over time. The amygdala scans for uncertainty and possible emotional threat. And the prefrontal cortex helps us make conscious decisions and intentional changes. But here is what happens during transformation. Conscious mind may want change while the emotional brain still wants familiarity. This creates the internal conflict. One part of you wants growth, another part wants predictability. And this is why people often feel emotionally uncomfortable right before breakthroughs. The nervous system is leaving the known, but has not fully learned to feel safe in the new. This also explains why old habits often return during stress. The brain naturally falls back toward familiar neural pathways because they require less energy and feel emotionally predictable. But through neuroplasticity, the brain can build new patterns. Every time you repeat a new behavior, practice emotional regulation, or respond differently than before, you strengthen new neural connections. And slowly, what once felt uncomfortable begins feeling normal. This is how transformation becomes sustainable. not through one giant moment, but through repeated moments of choosing the new pattern until the nervous system no longer experiences it as danger. Imagine someone named Nina. For years, Nina struggled with people pleasing. She said yes when she wanted to say no, overextended herself constantly, avoided disappointing others at all costs. And eventually, she became emotionally exhausted. So she finally decided to start setting boundaries. But something unexpected happened. Every time she tried saying no, her nervous system panicked. She felt guilty, anxious, selfish, afraid people would pull away from her. And part of her wanted to return to old patterns just to feel emotionally comfortable again. Now, logically, Nina knew boundaries were healthy, but emotionally, boundaries felt unsafe. Why? Because her nervous system had spent years associating approval with safety. So even healthy change felt emotionally threatening at first. And this happens to so many people. Sometimes the discomfort of change is not because the change is wrong. It is because the nervous system is still learning that the new pattern is safe. A story about a client who I will name as Michael. Michael spent years struggling with low self-worth. Negative self-talk had become automatic. So when he finally began healing, something surprising happened. Compliments made him uncomfortable. Rest felt unfamiliar. Confidence felt unnatural. And every time life started improving, part of him felt emotionally uneasy. Not because he wanted suffering, but because suffering had become familiar to his nervous system. His brain had spent years rehearsing stress, criticism, and self-doubt. So peace itself began feeling unfamiliar. And this is something many people never realize. Sometimes we resist positive change not because we dislike it, but because the nervous system has not practiced feeling safe within it yet. So today I want to give you a practice called the change safety method. Because healing change resistance begins by helping the nervous system feel safe with the unfamiliar. The next time growth feels uncomfortable, walk through these 5 steps. Step 1. Normalize the discomfort. Pause and remind yourself. Discomfort does not automatically mean danger. This alone can calm the nervous system significantly. Step 2. Identify what is changing. Ask yourself, what exactly feels unfamiliar right now? A new identity? A healthier relationship? More confidence? More visibility? Different habits? Emotional healing. Step 3. Notice what the nervous system fears. Ask yourself, what does part of me fear might happen if I fully change? Rejection, failure, loss of identity, judgment, uncertainty, outgrowing old relationships. Step 4. Regulate the body. Take slow breaths. Relax your muscles. Ground yourself physically. Because a regulated nervous system adapts to change more effectively than a fearful one. Step 5. reinforce safety around the new pattern. Quietly remind yourself, it is safe for me to grow. It is safe for me to change. It is safe for me to become a healthier version of myself. Because transformation becomes sustainable when the nervous system begins associating growth with safety instead of fear. And remember, change often feels uncomfortable before it feels freeing. That does not mean you are failing. It means your brain and nervous system are adjusting to a new way of being. And that process deserves compassion. And now, quietly repeat within yourself, it is safe for me to change. It is safe for me to grow. I can move forward without fear. I trust myself through transformation. I no longer need old patterns to feel safe. Take one final deep breath in and gently exhale. Allow your nervous system to remember the unfamiliar can become safe too. Before we close today, I want to guide you through a short meditation designed to help calm the nervous system during periods of change and emotional uncertainty. Now, unlike visualization, where we intentionally imagine specific mental images or future experiences, meditation is more about presence. It helps us slow down, regulate the body, quiet mental overstimulation, and reconnect with the present moment. And this matters deeply during change. Because when life feels uncertain, the mind often races into fear, overthinking, or worst case scenarios. But meditation helps teach the nervous system that it is possible to experience uncertainty without immediately entering survival mode. So, this next practice is not about forcing transformation, it is about creating enough calm and emotional safety within the body to allow change to happen more gently. Take a slow, deep breath in and gently exhale. Again, slowly breathe in and softly let the breath go. Allow your shoulders to relax. Relax your jaw. Relax the muscles around your eyes. And for the next few moments, allow yourself to stop trying to figure everything out. You do not need all the answers right now. You do not need to control every outcome. Simply allow yourself to be here, breathing, present, safe. Now gently bring your attention to your breath. Notice the inhale. Notice the exhale. Nothing to force, nothing to change. Just breathing naturally. And if thoughts begin appearing, that is okay. Do not fight them. Simply notice them and gently bring your attention back to your breath. Now quietly notice where change may feel uncomfortable in your life right now. Maybe there is uncertainty, fear, transition, growth, letting go, a new beginning. And instead of resisting the discomfort, simply allow yourself to acknowledge it with compassion. Quietly say to yourself, it is okay to feel uncomfortable while growing. It is okay to not have everything figured out. I can move through change one step at a time. I am safe in this moment. Take another slow, deep breath in. And as you exhale, imagine tension slowly leaving the body. The pressure to rush, the pressure to know everything, the pressure to become someone overnight. Let it soften. Let it go. Now bring one hand gently over your heart if that feels comfortable for you. And simply sit with a reminder that growth does not need to happen perfectly to still be real. Every small step matters. Every moment of awareness matters. Every time you choose healing instead of autopilot, change is already happening within you. And now, quietly repeat within yourself, I trust myself through change. I release fear and resistance. I can grow gently. I am safe becoming a new version of myself. I trust the process of transformation. Take one final slow deep breath in and gently exhale. And allow your mind and body to remember the discomfort of change is temporary, but the growth it creates can last a lifetime. So this week, instead of fearing discomfort, become curious about it. Ask yourself, is this discomfort actually proof that I am growing? Because sometimes transformation feels uncomfortable simply because the nervous system is learning something new for the very first time. And maybe healing is not becoming someone else. Maybe healing is finally becoming safe enough to fully become yourself. And next week, join me for the next episode. Are you addicted to self-criticism? Because we are going to explore why the inner critic becomes so powerful, how the brain normalizes negative self-talk, and how to begin creating a healthier, more compassionate relationship with yourself internally. Thank you for joining me today on Mindshift with Geetanjali. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone who needs to hear this message and subscribe for next week's episode. Every moment of awareness you create today builds the reality you live tomorrow. Keep rising, keep shifting, keep reframing, and keep becoming who you're meant to be. Rise, shift, reframe, become.